friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, which I assume all of you are because this is my first video, welcome. My name is Caitlin. I have so many hobbies. I've made so many purchases in my life for said hobbies, some of which I've stuck with, some of which I have not stuck with. My bad. I figured if I'm going to keep trying out all these hobbies, I should bring some friends along with me. So that's what this channel is. I'm going to explore some hobbies and bring you along with. So I hope it's a good time for all of us, and thank you so much for being here. I have a lot of hobbies that I've had for most of my life, that they've just stuck around, tried and true. So I figured to start off, because I don't know what I'm doing in terms of YouTube, another hobby, am I right? But I figured I'd start with something that I know and love. So in this video, I'm going to be crafting. I want to add a little bit of whimsy into my life and my decor. So I figured, why not start off with decor for my favorite holiday, Halloween. So that's what we're gonna do today. And I figured I'd bring you along with me. Go ahead and grab yourself a cozy little drink if you're feeling like it, and let's go ahead and get started. Got a couple of things from the thrift store. I'm a big thrifter. Perhaps that's another one of my hobbies. But I found this pumpkin. It was originally green, but I've already added a base coat of white just to get me started. It seems like it was originally from TJ Maxx for $10, but I got it for $4. So not a big discount, but it's better than buying new because I don't really like to just buy new, especially if I'm going to change it with crafting. So I'd rather reuse, recycle. I want to make it more whimsical, add some colors, and possibly even some patterns.
What is that?
Once I was happy with the colors, I decided to go in with some patterns, kind of switch it up for each color. So the red got a little stripey pattern. The orange, I tried this patchwork thing, which I think could have been cool, but I gave up on it and switched to circles, which turns out pretty neat in the end. And then the green, I tried an angle again, but I decided that it would look really cute with checkers. So I went ahead and got started on the painting. I don't know why my paints were so garbage. These aren't cheap paints, but that coverage is horrifying. Once I finished painting all the orange, I noticed I miscounted the number of sections on this pumpkin, so we'll deal with that later. Continuing on, I painted another coat of the orange, and that still did not give me the coverage I desired, so I ended up doing 3 coats of each color. It's fine. This is fine. I went in with the red next, and yes, I am fully aware that the red and the orange are very similar. My color mixing was not on point this day. I'll go back and fix that later, so just suffer through the weird colors, okay? It'll change. My green, though, I was pretty proud of. It looks different from what I imagined with the iPad drawing, but I actually really like it. I think it's a fun pop of color. So here's that extra section I didn't account for. I had this purple already mixed on my palette from doing all the other colors, and I really liked it and I thought it would complement the colors really well. So I decided to just add it to this section. I know it doesn't match and I know it messes up the symmetry, but it's fine. I really like the color. I ended up not drawing anything additional on it. Trust me, I tried something and it was absolutely hideous, so I just put that section in the back when I display it, and it still looks okay. And here's where I'm fixing the fact that the orange and the red looked so similar. I decided to lighten up the orange with a bit of yellow, and I think that really helped to separate the colors. And 3 coats later, here she is! Making these patterns nice and straight and symmetrical took all of my brain power. I basically just took the same color that I painted each section with and darkened it slightly to create the pattern. And then rinse and repeat. So I don't scare you with a crazy angle change, here's my dog living his best life. Can you tell when I purchased my camera stand in the middle of recording this? Once again, rinse and repeat. I decided I was not about to freehand circles, so I used the lid cap and it worked out pretty well. The rest of the pumpkin is not realistic whatsoever, but for some reason my brain could not get over the idea of making the stem as realistic as possible. So it took a lot of blending and a lot of changing of colors, but I think I finally got something that actually looked pretty realistic. I'm quite proud of it. This is something that I already got started on because I wanted to see if it would even work before doing this. So the other item is this little cage, I guess. It was originally from the thrift store as well. I think it was originally a candle holder that you put the candle here and then you hang it as decor. But I thought it was kind of screaming Halloween. What I did was in the spot where the candle goes, I added this little skeleton, and he was originally stick straight, very stick straight. Like he's not bendable at all. So I accidentally broke him, and I realized that that could be pretty cool actually, because I could break him at the joints that he has and shape him into the certain shape that I want. So what I was attempting to go for was a skeleton kind of like coming out at you. Unfortunately, he's a little like straight up and down, so he kind of looks a little like stripper-esque, where he's just kind of holding on to the bar, which I still enjoy. I connected him with, I tried many different things, but I finally ended up on hot glue to connect him and all of his joints back together and then connect him to the structure itself. I still need to repaint him. I think I want to make him just a little brighter because he kind of blends in with everything. And then what I was thinking and what I would show on camera for you guys is kind of repeating the process. I was thinking it would be fun if his friend could join him. I don't know where yet or what, but I think that would be fun. Do not be offended by this. He will be fine. We'll stitch him back together. 1, 2. How did I break his leg? What? How did I do that? This one's a lot more bendy. Three, 4, 5, and 6. Thinking it'd be fun if he was kind of just sitting on top. Oh, he's very hard to hold. Where he kind of looks like he's peeking around. I can bend his knees, elbows as well, so yeah, I think we'll go ahead and get started with that idea. So we'll see how it goes. Struggling with what direction to put the top guy at for a very long time because of the swinging bottom guy. In the end, I think it turned out all right, but my gosh, was it a struggle. And here's where I forgot how the human body works, so I had to look at my own arm to figure out which arm to put on. This open mouth face, by the way, is the concentration face I've made for my entire life. I have a picture from when I was younger with my tongue just sticking out. At least I've managed to keep my tongue inside my mouth this time. I reinforced all of his joints with additional hot glue just so they don't snap any further. More proof of the cute concentration faces I make. And here's me realizing that I glued the legs on backwards. So, that was fun. And here's the face of someone who's made a grave mistake. Fortunately, he didn't fall apart too bad, so I was able to fix him pretty easily, but whew, was that scary. Another anatomy check, and there we go. Legs are on correctly this time. These heads were surprisingly heavy, so his neck gets a big old dollop of glue to fit that in place. I swear these glue strings are going to be the death of me. And here he is, with his brother included. Time to lighten them up with a little bit of white. I didn't want it completely opaque so that you could still see some of the colors from the original skeletons because I think it added a nice realistic effect to them. Should I have painted them before I glued them to the fixture? Absolutely. But here we are, so I did my best to clean up everything. And the finished product. I'm pretty proud of this one. I think the white really makes them stand out, and I'm glad I did that. This little pumpkin. One of my hobbies that I just picked up, which I'm sure I will show on this channel, is sewing. I started watching Rachel Maxey and she just inspired me to pick up sewing. I've always wanted to do it, and I had this old machine from my friend that I was borrowing, and I finally just sat down and taught myself how to sew. And it's been a lot of fun, quite the journey. But this was my test pumpkin. It's a little bit of a flat boy and kind of wrinkly and not necessarily the pumpkin way. I have some ideas of how to do it in a better way. Instead of the seams sitting here, they would sit here, kind of in the divot. And I think I could do that by kind of like ruching it. So that's my hope. I will actually finish it too. This one has a big hole. But I just wanted to try it out and see if that would be fun. But I have this really cool fabric that I got, from the thrift store. So they're quite large, and I think that they were originally like tablecloths based on the shape of them and just the overall texture. But I think that they have really fun textures and colors, especially for the fall. And I don't know if you can fully see it, but it has like a shiny section of the fabric that is the pattern. And then the other one that I have is very similar vibe, I think also a tablecloth is this green one, and it basically is the exact same. So it has the normal looking fabric and then it has the shiny decorations. What I want to do though is pretty much just like every other bump, and so I would need to get the seams to scoot over in order to achieve that, but I think that would be very pretty if I just went back and forth between the two. My bow boy decided that these were in fact a bed and not for a pumpkin. Once he moved, because I couldn't possibly take him off and disturb his sleep, I got to cutting. I really just went for it. Not my best plan. I should have decided on a shape before cutting them all out, but once I refined it, I then got around to cutting out the orange as well. I started by sewing each individual piece with 2 rows of stitches so that I could create the ruching. I did the first row of stitches about half a foot's width away from the edge, and then I scooted over and did the second row of stitches about half a foot's width away from that. I only recently learned to sew, so I only recently learned this. So I just tugged on the 2 strings and it created gathers and ruching that I was able to use as my seams of my pumpkin. And if I'm doing something wrong, please politely tell me or just don't tell me. After repeating this for the long sides of all the sections, I took 2 of them and sewed them together. Repeat till I had the full pumpkin. So what I want to do now is finish the pumpkin. So I have it all sewn together with the ruches, and I want to sew the holes closed. So I'm going to leave one open so I can stuff it. I need to sew the bottom, and then I grabbed this stick from my backyard and I'm going to put it in the top as I stuff and sew it closed, and we'll see how it looks. Hopefully it looks good. Hopefully. Hey, don't look at those pants, okay? I got home and I got comfy. Once I finished sewing the bottom, I stuffed it and non-stop stuffed it, and eventually added this stick as well. Now I'm not going to zoom in on the top stitching that I did because oy vey, that is hot garbage. But there she is, in her rightful place, looking like the beauty that she is. Alright, that's a wrap. Made my home nice and whimsical for my favorite holiday. I hope you enjoyed, and I really appreciate you being here. Until next time. Bye, friends. We have this leaf motif, band name called it. Where instead of the seams sitting on what's it called? Ugh. Awkward.